Hey everyone, and welcome! We're about to dive into one of the absolute cornerstones of algebra, the function. Now, you probably use that word all the time, but in the world of math, it means something super specific and super powerful. So, let's demystify it, shall we?
Okay, so first things first, let's clear up what we're even talking about. In everyday conversation, a function is just its job, right? The function of a spoon is to scoop stuff up. Simple. But in math, forget about purpose. A function is all about being a very specific rule that links one group of things to another.
So to really get what a function is, you just need to understand its three basic building blocks: inputs, outputs, and the rule that glues them together. Let's take a look.
All right, let's start with this word, a set. Don't let the math speak intimidate you. All it means is a collection of things. Seriously, that's it. It could be numbers, like 1, 2, 3, or a list of your favorite pizza toppings, or every letter in the alphabet. A set can be tiny, or it can go on forever. Now, these two sets that our function connects, they get fancy names. The set of all the things you can put into the function is called the domain. And the set of all the results you can get out of it, that's the range. So just remember, domain is what goes in, range is what comes out. Let's look at a really simple example. No tricky algebra needed, I promise. Imagine our function's rule is just, tell me how many sides this shape has. The inputs, the domain, are polygons. So if you pop in triangle, what's the output? Exactly one thing, the number 3. If you put in square, you get 4. See the pattern? Every single input gives you one and only one clear answer.
Okay, so that's a nice simple one. But what does this look like in a more classic math problem? Well, take the equation y equals 2x. This is a perfect example of a function. X is our input and y is our output. And the rule? Super simple. Just double whatever number you put in. So if you put in 1, you get 2. If you put in 2, you get 4. And once again, what's the key thing here? Every input has just one single output.
All right, so it seems pretty straightforward, right? Input, rule, output. But there is one big rule, one absolutely critical, can't be broken requirement that makes something a real function and not just any old math equation.
And that leads us to a really important question. We know y equals 2x works, but does that mean any equation you can dream up is a function? Let's find out.
Okay, let's try a different one. Y squared equals x. So let's pick an input for x. How about 4? Now, what number, when you square it, gives you 4? Well, 2 times 2 is 4, so 2 works. But wait, -2 times -2 is also 4. Uh-oh, our single input, 4, is spitting out 2 different outputs, 2 and -2. Same thing if we try 9, right? We get 3 and -3. Houston, we have a problem.
And this is it. This is the big rule I was talking about. To be a function, every single input has to give you exactly one output. Not 2, not 0, but 1. No ifs, ands, or buts. And because our equation y squared equals x broke that rule, guess what? It's not a function. Plain and simple.
So now we have the rule, which is great. But what if you're looking at a graph of an equation? Are you supposed to sit there plugging in numbers all day? No way. There's a super easy visual trick to tell if a graph is a function, and it's called the vertical line test.
And just as a quick refresher, right, we can draw any function on a graph. Every input-output pair, like that 1, 2 or 2, 4 we saw earlier, just becomes a dot, a point, x, y. You connect the dots and bam, you've got the shape of your function.
So how does this test work? It's almost ridiculously simple. You just look at your graph. Now, picture a perfectly straight vertical line, like a ruler, and just slide it across the graph from left to right. All you have to do is pay attention to one thing. At any single spot, how many times is your line touching the graph? And here's the magic. If that vertical line of yours only ever hits the graph at one point at a time, no matter where you slide it, congratulations, you've got a function. It passes. But if you can find even one place where that line crosses the graph in 2 or more spots at the same time, it fails. That's not a function. Why? Because it means one input, your x value, has multiple outputs, your y values.
Okay, so we know what a function is, we know the big rule, and we even have a cool visual test. Now let's talk about the language, the way mathematicians actually write this stuff down. I'm sure you've seen this f of x thing before, and let's be honest, it can look a little weird.
but trust me, it's way simpler than it looks. First and most important thing, f of x does not mean f multiplied by x. That's the number one mistake people make. Just think of f as the name we gave our function, like naming a pet Fluffy. The x in the parentheses is just telling you what the input is. And the whole thing, f of x, is just a fancy way of saying the output, or y. So when you see f of x equals y, it's just a sentence that reads, the output you get from function f when you put in x is y.
Right, let's try one out. We have a function, we'll call it f, and the rule for f is f of x equals 3x plus 2. In other words, whatever number you give it, it's going to multiply it by 3 and then add 2.
Okay, so with that in mind, what is f of 4? See how that works? It's just a really compact way of asking, hey, what happens when you plug the number 4 into our function?
And the answer? It's 14. You just take out the x and pop in the 4. So 3 times 4 is 12, and 12 plus 2 is 14. See? That f of x notation isn't so scary after all. It's just a clean way to show what's going on.
All right, let's do a super quick wrap-up of the big ideas. Number 1, a function is a rule with one golden rule. One input, exactly one output. Number 2, we've got our input set, the domain, and our output set, the range. And number 3, if you've got a graph, the vertical line test is your best friend for spotting a function in seconds.
Now, we've mostly looked at straight lines, but of course, algebra is full of all kinds of crazy curves, parabolas, squiggly lines, you name it. So here's something to think about. How can all those different complex shapes still be functions? How do they all manage to follow that one big rule and pass the vertical line test? That's a fantastic question for another time. Thanks for watching.
If you liked this video, then don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.